Hi, this is Logan Street with Dealer Socket by Solera. Today I'm going to go over desking 3.0 and specifically the differences between 3.0 and 2.0 and why we feel it's a better solution. So to access desking, nothing has changed. You can still access it from an opportunity. You can access it directly from desking. Or you can access it through the desk log, which we always recommend if the customer is in the store so that we can verify that all the information needed to desk a car deal is there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on go to desking. And first thing I want you to notice is the difference in how quickly this loads compared to desking 2.0 that you guys are all used to. If you look on the left-hand side, nothing has actually changed over here. So I still have my customer contact information linked to the opportunity, who's the assignment sources, everything like that's still going to be there. If you'll notice, there is actually a multi-quote button here that's still that way in the old tool, but there is also one up here in the upper right-hand side of the screen. That will be going away off the left-hand side of the screen, and we will have multi-quote at the top of the screen here. And the good news is we are enhancing that next year, so look forward to that. Again, below that, you still have your notes. You still have any changes made to the deal as far as when it was saved, printed, shared. That's all the same. Okay. Moving on to the rest of the desking tool. So like I said, you'll notice a quicker load time and really just a faster tool. And if you go back and you look at when we switched from classic desking to 2.0, we had a couple things that were kind of working against us. Number one, we had a deadline with Flash that probably forced us to release a product a little bit quicker than we would have wanted. And then where we released it to quite a few dealers at once, obviously there were some speed issues, some things that we ended up having to address with infrastructure, as well as adding features. And let's just call a spade a spade. It wasn't a great launch. And so one of the things that our product department has done is actually interviewed dealers and asked them, like, hey, what can we do to improve this? And their feedback included, it can be slow at times. You guys have to scroll up and down too much. When I jump from deal to deal or from deal type to deal type, the boxes are different. There's just some good feedback that we got from the dealers, and what we did is we basically started a new desking UI from the ground up. And what you're looking at is that UI. And so first thing I want to highlight at the top left-hand side of the screen is we now show different deal types. There is one deal type that's missing right here. If your dealership does do balloon payments, the balloon will show up here as well. So there are 5 total deal types. There are also 2 deal types that are going to be coming in addition to these 5 in 2023, probably fairly early. Those are the Ford Flex Buy and then the AFG Credit Union calculation that is pretty big on the East Coast. So look forward to those changes. But if you remember in desking 2.0, I had to flip a toggle while I was under the finance tab to jump between finance and cash. And then in the lease, I had to flip a toggle to go between the lease and the one pay. What this also allows us to do, and we'll get to this, we can now show both a finance option and a cash option. We can also show a lease option and a one pay option when we print our compare form out for the customer to review. And so that is something that a lot of dealers have been asking for, specifically, showing a cash option and a finance option. A lot of times you might have a customer that wants to go to their own bank, and we want to show them the out the door if that's the case, but we also want to show them what kind of rates we can provide. And so that will allow you to do that now. A couple other things to take a look at. If we notice here under our vehicle information, I'm on a test site right now, so I don't have a specific SOC number in the tool, but a couple things I wanted to highlight. If this is collapsed, you will see a VIN number a stock number and a model code listed here as well, so you don't have to open it up anymore to get that information. And then a couple things that we've added a certification number. So in the event that, you know, I know with certain dealers, they don't add a certification until, you know, the customer brings it up, or they offer it as part of the negotiation process, and the car that is being sold hasn't been certified yet. You can add your certification number in here as well. And then I'm told that we're working on an integration with our inventory manager to be able to pull that data in. The other thing in this, this applies to only a few states that tax based off of weight. This weight field right here will also pull that data in, but you can also add your weight as well, so we can get an accurate tax rate there. So good changes there. On the left-hand side, we have our sales subtotal field. One thing I want to note with the sales subtotal field is if I jump from cash to finance to cash to lease to one pay, you'll notice it doesn't really change that much. It's broken down the same way. I know in Desking 2.0, it would break that up a little bit. And then that's one thing to just kind of note is as I jump from deal type to deal type, I'm not really having to scroll at all. In this example, I have this trade listed here, and the only thing that's being covered up is the push trade button. But for the most part, if I'm jumping from deal to deal and I'm you know, comparing a value to another value, it stays in the same spot. I don't have to go look for it. So that is another feature that that we've added. Another option, if we come down here to the trade, is our new improved trade card. So to kind of go along with the ability to kind of make this easier to navigate through and not have to scroll as much. I know in the old tool, if we had multiple trades, it would just stack them and you had to scroll down and look at each of those trades. In this tool, you can have your trade listed right here. If you want to add another trade, you can add that trade here. Again, if the customer has a vehicle in the system that they're going to trade, there will be a button right here that you can go and select that vehicle. But we can add up to 3 trades on the screen right here. And again, it doesn't require us to scroll at all. So as we come down right here, another change with our trade card. It used to be that the ACV was at the top. We had reconditioning, trade amount, and payoff in that order. Based off of some feedback that we got from dealers, they would prefer us to have the trade amount up top, the payoff listed second. Those are probably the 2 most important fields in terms of what you're showing the customer. And then the ACV listed at the bottom. Reconditioning still works the same way that it works in the other. And again, if you want to under allow, you can just flip that toggle to go ahead and under allow on that car deal. Okay. As we move over, fees and taxes, they are in the order that they fall here as far as that those go. This is still built on the exact same architecture that the current desking tool is built on and the classic desking tool is built on. So as far as any changes needed, if you do get on the pilot or when you switch over, nothing really needs to change in the back end. It's all pulling from the same place. All the settings will remain the same. Coming down to add-on products, we did change the order of these. It used to be the aftermarkets were listed at the bottom. We found that at this stage in the deal, a lot more dealers were offering aftermarkets before they were offering service contracts, gap, or maintenance. And then if we come over here to the right, we've got our payment options. This really hasn't, or our payment, this really hasn't changed. We can still roll our payment and so on. And then you've got your estimated total gross field is here. One thing that you're probably asking is, okay, well, where's the matrix? So if you look over here on the right-hand side of the screen, there's the little tab right here that says payment options. This is where the matrix is hiding. So as we started looking into this, one big thing that we found that was causing the slowness was the actual matrix loading. And the reason why is if you look at this whole calculation and coming up with this payment, this had to happen for every single one of these fields. And so what we did is by default, when you open the desking tool, the matrix is over here on the right-hand side and it doesn't load with the rest of the screen. So when we need to jump into our payment options, you know, we can, if we don't already have this defaulted, it's the same setup. We can, you know, jump through here. You can also clear this out or reset it to whatever the defaults are, just by one click there. If we wanted to clear it out, we can clear it. Reset to defaults. And then one thing I wanted to highlight as well is how quickly this payment will reflect on the worksheet. So if I go ahead and I click that payment, I'm already there. I know that was a complaint that sometimes if you'd select a payment, it would take a while to load. Other thing to note here is we no longer just have the finance option and the lease option in the matrix. We have our cash deal option, our one pay. And again, if you have the balloon payment option turned on, that would be listed here as well. A couple things, we actually have access to the program's browser without looking at the matrix. Both will take you to the same place, but again, it's the same thing if, let's say, General Motors has or I guess GM Financial in this example has a special finance option for the Colorado, then you could select that just like you would in the old tool or in the old tool. Okay. Coming up to the top of the screen, not a lot has changed up here. We can still jump to the desk log, the deal list, post this to DMS when we select a payment, right? Credit application, PIN. We're actually looking at changing up the way that we do the PIN, similar to how we do like the last 20 customers, but having multiple drop downs with that as well. So that's a good change that could be coming here soon. We can share the worksheet and we can print. So one of the things I wanted to highlight as well is when we do go to print, it used to be that, again, and I brought this up earlier, we couldn't show a cash option with a finance option. And just looking at this, you would think that that would be the case. And the reason why is this particular presentation sheet that I'll show you is only tied to 2 options. So if I unselect the lease option, I hit the cash option, it will show me a finance option and a cash option when I go ahead and print that out. If you have, and that is if you are utilizing this compare form that's going to load up here. So you can see here's the cash option, here's the finance option. If you are utilizing the other compare form, and I will pause the video for a second and pop that other compare form up for you so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Okay, so if you're using the other compare form that looks like this and you go to print preview, one of the benefits that you do have with this form over the other form is you can show more than just 2. So if I wanted to add a cash option to the finance and lease option, I could have that listed here as well. We can't do 4 just because of the space on the page, but you can, as you can see, it's good to have that option now. If you would prefer this view, reach out to your CSM and they can get it switched for you. Okay. And then that pretty much covers all of the changes and the differences between the two. As you can see, they are very similar, but there are a lot of features that make a lot more sense in 3.0. And to kind of add on to that, we have added more CPUs and server space to make this faster, as well as accommodate future added use. So as more dealerships add this, you don't have to worry about it getting slow or about it slowing down. We're planning ahead for that. So please let your CSM know if you have any questions. And I appreciate you joining me for this video today. Thanks.